Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, we got a loaded show here tonight. Of course, NXT, then to be followed by AEW Dynamite, blood and guts from our own neck of the woods, about 90 minutes north of us, northeast of us. It was from Boston, Massachusetts, at the TD Garden, home of the Boston Celtics and Boston Bruins. And I believe this is the first time AEW invaded Boston. Well, at least invaded TD Garden. They've done Angus or the Songus Arena in the past, but this is the first time ever they were at TD Garden in Boston. This is big time now because, as many of you guys know, Boston is definitely very WWE territory for AEW to come into one of their sacred buildings. TD Garden, this is a big deal for them, and they gave us the biggest match of the year. Blood and Guts, their version of War Games. They were able to do it. And so, yes. I know that, Anthony. That's why I said it, because they did Angus before. That was their first. That was kind of their territory. Now they really went and jumped into the big leagues by invading TD Garden, and it was a sellout too. So props to AEW for that. But first, let's go into NXT. Started off with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams cutting a promo, interrupted by Ilya Dragunov. And look, this was good. I liked it. A solid promo, strong promo by both men as they're preparing for the big one, for the Great American Bash. The NXT title on the line at the end of the month, at least 2 weeks from now, at the end, on July 30th. I believe it's when it's supposed to go down. I know it's not this week. It's the week after, on that Tuesday, I believe. I think it's Tuesday. I don't think this is a premium.
MF, it is a pay-per-view.
All right, so it is. So, all right, I stand corrected. I thought it was a regular NXT.
Oh, no.
All right. Great American Bash, premium live event.
Sunday, July 30th.
Sunday, July 30th. All right. So I was right. I said July 30th, and then I kind of tailed back on it. All right. So July 30th, Sunday. Look, like I said, solid promo, really good, really strong. Both men making very good cases why they're going to be the NXT champion. I really got nothing more to say. By de facto, this was my non-wrestling segment of the night. I know there was another segment later. I wasn't really too fond about it. Whatever. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Sorry, MF, I disagree. I got to be the man who tells it like it is. It was fine, but not a very exciting start to the show. Mello is a much better promo than Dragunov, so he had to hold back to avoid overshadowing him. With limited build, this also just lacked real heat. The match will be great, but NXT continues to struggle to take the necessary steps to make Mello feuds must-watch television. Other stories across the show are more involved, while the A-Champion just relies on his natural charisma and athleticism to get by. Mello admitted that he could not work at the same physical pace as Dragunov has in the last few weeks. The A-Champion also said he knew that everyone was judging him as NXT champion. And he also said, for one of us, it is going to be champagne. For the other one of us, it is going to be just pain. Mello committed to this line fully, more than it deserved. And then later, Mello, Trick, and Dragunov got into a brawl with the Schism backstage, which is going to lead to a 6-man tag on the next show next week. Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov against Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, and Rip Fowler. So 6-man tag. That's going to be very interesting to see how Dragunov can coexist with Mello and Trick. Because you're not just dealing with Mello, you also got to deal with Trick as well. So he's got to find a way to coexist with both of them, to get by the Schism, which will be the go-home show for the Great American Bash on Sunday night, July the 30th. that's a big day already for us because hello, we got an equally big event on that day too.
I mean, we're talking about right in the par of a. This is a WrestleMania level event, and they're already making it into a WrestleMania level event. The event we're going to.
You better believe it, man. Cannot wait, and can't wait to be there with you guys. It's gonna be that's gonna be a happening. I know we'll talk about that next week, but on one of the shows anyway. I don't know if it'll be this show or if it'll be the Saturday show, but I know we're gonna get into it. So, but for right now, I spoke my piece. MF may have loved the segment, but I'm not as crazy about it as he was. It was fine, yes, but it just wasn't as good as MF thought it was. So it's got to be the man who tells it like it is. But don't get me wrong, the match of the Great American Bash is gonna be a show stealer, no doubt about it. Don't be surprised if that ends up being the fight of the night, come the 30th. So not much more to say. It is the de facto segment of the night here. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, Mr. NXT, your champion, Carmelo Hayes, his challenger, Ilya Dragunov. Solid, but not overly spectacular promo segment. But that match of the Great American Bash, man, ho, 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 ho. Get ready.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I'm more on Fletcher's side. I thought it was a good segment. I'm not gonna say it was great. I mean, it was good, but not great. I'll say it. I mean, I love the interaction with these two. I mean, trying to build for their big NXT title match at the Great American Bash, and yeah, this is definitely gonna be. This has got fight of the night all over it. I mean, when you got Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, you know you're going to be in for something special. So I thought it was a good segment, a good way to start off this edition of NXT. But I'll just end it by saying like this: some will like this segment, like me and Fletch, while others, like Anthony Florio, will say it just wasn't for us. So you're not going to please everybody. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Next up we had was our first match of the night. Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier going up against Garza and Carrillo. And it was Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier winning the match in 11 minutes and 29 seconds. But then after the match, Angel and Alberto had a little bit of a mini implosion. It looks like they might be splitting them up to become single stars, Anthony. I know one person was not happy about it, and they're not here. It was one of my 2184 crew guys. They were very angry about it. They're like, why the heck are you breaking them up? There's not enough tag teams in WWE. What are you doing? What says you?
Well, I'll address that in a minute. So, but let's talk about the match, though. I mean, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. This was a phenomenal tag team match. Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier keep delivering each week in the ring. It also helped that Los Lotharios were working motivated. It is shocking a team this good could not find time on SmackDown or Raw. While now, as far as the breakup goes, while it is concerning that Los Lotharios seem set to break up, the future should be still bright. Should still be bright for Angel and Humberto. They are impressive, polished athletes. If they stick with NXT, they can have good matches together and apart with the NXT roster. Los Lotharios caught Frazier diving and threw him into Dragon as the Luchador went for his own dive. Los Lotharios press slammed Dragon, then Angel hit Frazier with a moonsault outside while Humberto hit the Luchador one inside for a near fall. Humberto kicked out of Dragon Lee's set-out powerbomb, which may indicate that is no longer his finisher. MF should know, because he's followed him a lot longer than Bullock and I have. And after the match, Garza yelled at Humberto until he got pushed to the floor, and Humberto walked out on his partner through the crowd. So it'll be very interesting to see how that all plays out. But for right now, MF, I mean, if this was a pay-per-view and you started it and you had this match starting it, perfect jump off. I mean, it kind of had an X Division type feel here, and you know me and the X Division from Impact Wrestling, you know how much I love that, and it had that kind of a feel. It was a spot monkey fest, and I loved it. So fantastic match. Vic and Booker on commentary, they were feeling it as well, and can't say I blame them. So you could certainly make an argument for Fight of the Night honors on this one. So 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Excellent jump off. Michael Bullock, I mean, it kind of had an old school NXT black and gold type of fight here. I mean, excellent match. 4 great young studs, and some of the moves in this match. Wow. Unbelievable. I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, this was an unbelievable match. I mean, 3.5 to 3 3/4. I mean, give credit where credit is due. I mean, Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier, I can tell you they look like one heck of a team here, and I'm interested to see what happens with Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza with the breakup for this. I mean, is this going to be a breakup? It could be, but we're gonna have to wait and see how it goes. I mean, if there are any fallouts come next week. So, nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
Yeah, as far as the fallout goes, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I mean, they did a really good job with it. I thought the storyline was fine. The breakup, like I said, it annoyed a couple people out there because they're like, you just had them come to NXT, now you're gonna have them breaking up and everything else. And I get it. I get where the anger is coming from, because there isn't that many tag teams left in WWE or in wrestling, period. So you're wondering if that, is that a good thing for them to do or not do? Like I said, there's a lot to consider. At the end of the day, I think they did a fine job with it. So I'm not too annoyed about it like some people were, who really kind of felt like this was a mistake. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I thought they did a fine job. So, yeah. So, next up we had was Gigi Dolan versus Kiana James. Kiana James winning the match in 3 minutes and 43 seconds. We don't really need to talk about this one. It was good while it lasted, but it was really, really, really short. So, that was really nothing much to talk about. Then we had Scripps and Axiom. They went up against Bronco Nima and Lucien Prince. It was Prince and Nima winning in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Another short fight. Another one that we don't really need to talk much about on this one. Then we had a promo by Tony D'Angelo, his return, obviously interrupted by my boy, the Dallas Boys. They interrupted. That leads to possibly a matchup down the line, basically for the tag team titles. It was fine. Really nothing more on that one. Then we had Thea Hale and Elektra Lopez. Thea Hale wins in 1:17. Another short fight, so we can blow on through that one. But it leads us to the next match. Oro Mensah versus Eddie Thorpe. Oro wins in 4:41. Short battle in that one. Then we had to sell some promo site, backstage thing between Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport. They were going side by side. That was a solid, okay thing. Really nothing high to talk on that either. Now it leads us to the main event of the evening. Wesley versus Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship. Winner of the bout, 10 minutes and 30 seconds. And new NXT North American Champion, Dirty Dom Mysterio. Michael Bullock. Oh, no, bro. Dominic Mysterio North American champion. The Judgment Day just took one of your belts.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse for me, I mean, with Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green winning the women's tag team championships, now we have to have Dum Dum as the new North American champion. You couldn't have asked for a worse 24 hours for me.
You've been having a rough few days here, Bullock. I mean, you've been having a rough few days.
Yeah.
I'm back in. What I miss?
I need a really big bottle of aspirin now because I am really gonna have a big time headache.
I need a mark bag too.
I was gonna say we basically blew by everything, Florio, because there were short matches where you didn't really cover anything. We're on the main event. We're on Wesley versus Dominic Mysterio. Bullock is leading off right now. So, Bullock, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know what else is there to say. I mean, it was a fine match, but there was just so much interference from the Judgment Day. I mean, because not only had Rhea Ripley, but you also had Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Now, I mean, let's face it, guys. I mean, Wesley has been a great North American champion, correct?
The greatest.
No arguments.
And this is how you have him lose the title like this. Now, if he, I don't know. I mean, if he had lost it like clean, okay, I can live with that. But with you're gonna have a reign like this and like that. I mean, I really don't know what else is there to say. I mean, it just, I can only give this 2.5 stars. I mean, it was a good match, but it was just so much Judgment Day interference that really just took away from it. I'm sorry. That's just how I personally feel about it. So, yeah. Bad 24 hours for me. First with Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green as the women's tag team champions. And now this. Where's that big bottle of aspirin right now? I probably need to take it. I don't know what else is there to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, if you're looking for the aspirin, I can't help you with that. I only got ibuprofen here in my room. Aspirin, it's probably somewhere downstairs in the house. It's somewhere in there or in the medicine cabinet. I can't help you, Bullock. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you got it like downstairs, please give me any amount of it because I'm gonna need it after a rough 24 hours. Oh my god.
Like I said.
Or here's another thing. I'm gonna channel one of your things, Fletch. Part of me like, where's the Michael Fletcher I can't take it face?
Oh no! You don't want that.
What about your I can't take it face?
Yeah.
That's right. It's been a while. So, well, for you fans,
you had to go and do it, Florio, didn't you? You had to push poor Nomar to the brink. Oh, poor Mike. Oh man.
I'm echoing those feelings too.
Will you stop?
Have a heart for the brother.
As far as those three that are really going to give me headaches, well, I could say something, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it at that.
I mean, you know where I'm going. I mean, you guys know where I'm going with it, so I'm just going to leave it.
I know you were going.
Please take it before my headache really goes.
You got it. I disagree, obviously. I'm going to go 3 stars. And something told me something that like this was. I know there was some rumors that they really would think about putting Dom in NXT. This was actually even during the McMagma era that they were talking about putting Dominic in NXT for a little bit to have him hone his craft, get better, whatever. This win and everything, I hate to say this, actually falls on Papa H. Papa H loves the Judgment Day and is actually very high on them right now. So because of their body of work, because of everything that's been going on. So actually, we can't even throw this at McMahon. This is 100% Triple H. He's been responsible for this. Just as much as we've had the great success on SmackDown with the Bloodline, the Judgment Day has actually been one of the best things happening on Monday Night Raw. And ratings-wise, Judgment Day has been very high and very good for Monday Night Raw viewers. So bring them over to NXT, give Michael Bullock the headache of a lifetime, but the ratings are going to reflect it, possibly because of Judgment Day doing what they're doing. So you got one of the most over stables right now in WWE, working what they're doing their magic, and all of a sudden, now you start looking around and you're thinking back in your mind, you're like, all right, Rhea's a champion, Dominic is a champion. Now, what happens between Balor and Damian Priest? How does that play out? As a matter of fact, the rumors about JD McDonough was going to join Judgment Day, they've actually backburned it. So now all that is now out of play for the moment. So there's a chance that we could see Judgment Day walking out with gold. All four of them could have singles gold. We just don't know how they're going to get there or what they're going to do, but there's a real legit threat that Balor could be a could be a champion very soon. Either if he doesn't get World Heavyweight title, maybe he goes after the NXT title. He might be the one to unseat Carmelo. He could. And then that opens the door for possibly Damian Priest. Because of the Money in the Bank, he could catch that in on Seth Rollins. Bingo bango. Now you have all four with all titles. It's very possible. So just when I thought that, and I even said it, I went out on a limb. I was like, you know what, guys? There's a very good chance Dominic walked out of here the NXT North American champion. And I got ripped on social media by a lot of people. Like, nah, they're not gonna do that. Dom's on Monday Night Raw. You honestly think they were gonna give him the belt? 2 nights in a row, I was made to look like a freaking genius. Anthony Floyo gave me my flowers about a couple nights ago, last night, for what happened in Impact Wrestling, where I boldly called for Subculture to win the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team titles, and they won it. Now I kind of partially called it again. I was like, I think Dom could be North American champion. And I got it. 2 nights in a row. Heave ho, 2 in a row. Much to the chagrin of Michael Bullock, Anthony Florio is probably like, all right, hot shot. What's the next bold prediction you're going to make? I'm done. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. I got my 2. I'm walking away right now. So 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
What was the time of the fall on that one?
11 minutes and let me see. It was 11. I want to say 11:40, but hang on. Let me confirm it. It was. Nope. I'm sorry. 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right. I'm with you on this one. 3 to 3 1/4 here. Second best fight of the night. Dominic Mysterio is at a whoa. Yeah, that disappeared on me for a moment. Yeah, I was getting into my thoughts here, and then this thing just back jumped me. All right. Okay. As I was trying to say, before this annoying thing came up, Dominic Mysterio was at a level in the ring where he can benefit from reps like this. He kept this slower than needed for the first 10 minutes, but the contest did begin to pick up once Wes Lee began his comeback. This was certainly below Lee's usual standard as champion. This was a difficult way to end an impressive reign by Lee, who broke every record for an NXT North American champion. However, it certainly projected the champion, who was completely outworking Dirty Dom before the Judgment Day stole it. This leaves Mustafa Ali in an awkward position come the Great American Bash. How will the title match change for that event? Many questions are left unanswered following a genuinely surprising result. And backstage, Ali questioned Lee about why he gave Dominic a title shot. Ripley called out Lyra Valkyria backstage, telling her to make a statement at the expense of JC Jane. And Dirty Dom actually managed to hit the 619 for a near fall, but he missed the frog splash. So, yeah, I get it, Monsoon, or Bullock. Yeah, okay. But anyways, 3 to 3 1/4 for this one, and second best fight of the night. I mean, it's the biggest surprise we've seen. This is not the first time we've seen something like this happen. You remember March of last year, Dolph Ziggler won the NXT championship from Braun Breaker, took that over to Monday Night Raw, held it for a good few weeks before Braun got the belt back the night after WrestleMania 38. So we'll have to wait and see how long they keep it on Dom. But Wes Lee, man, you got to feel for that young man. Formerly Desmond Xavier, Impact Wrestling, part of the Rascals with Trey Miguel and the recently returning Zachary Wentz and the whole 9 yards. But, you know, it is what it is. And great run as champion. 269 days he was champion, and they did him dirty, man. And I feel and what I was trying to say was I sympathize with Bullock. I feel exactly the same way, man. I mean, I got a problem with Team Karen now holding the women's tag team titles, and now he's got the most hated wrestler in WWE today, a guy who's probably got more heat than even Roman does. Who would have thunk that? But it is what it is. So he's got to deal with them now. So 3 1/4 for me. So let's move on.
All right, it's time for the overall review of the show. Other than maybe that match, there's really nothing more that I would say about it. I thought they did okay. At the end of the day, I thought it was an all right NXT. I'll go 6 out of 10. There was way too many short matches. There was way too many things that really didn't stick out for us. So for me, it was, like I said, it was disappointing. Could have been better in certain areas, but you know, it is what it is. So, Anthony, it's yours. It's only a 6, and I might be generous with that rating.
Let me see. Well, you know, got to be the man who tells it like it is. Once again, this was a bad show. Outside of the opening tag team match, every other match was forgettable to actively bad. The main redeeming segment was Tony D'Angelo's homecoming. NXT tried to take several swings to build stories for the future, but none really worked. Scripps turned heel again for no reason. Gigi Dolan lost her mind in order to lose a bad match. The only possible exception is the surprise win of Dominic Mysterio. It could be interesting to see him as a champion, but it looked far better to end Wes Lee's reign by handing over the reins to Mustafa Ali at the Great American Bash. The build to Great American Bash was muted at best. Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov had a lackluster segment. Thea Hale has been too dominant to believe in the end that she will actually beat Tiffany Stratton for the women's title. It is clear that the NXT bookers wanted to make a splash. This show will be talked about on SmackDown and Raw after the ending. However, too little was actually entertaining to watch in order to get people talking. So, MF, yes, you were very generous on this one because I'm slamming this sucker. It's between 3 and 4 out of 10. Anthony Florio not impressed. So that's all I can say about that. If you're pressed for time, the Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, Los Lotharios tag match, you got to go out of your way to see that. The D'Angelo segment, I'll give you that too. I'll even give you the main event. And but other than that, yeah, no. Between 3 and 4 for me. So yeah, boy, howdy. I mean, I throw a little praise their way, and then they go back to their roots. They go back to 2.0 roots. Reality. So 3 to 4. Bullock, Mr. NXT, give us your thoughts, and then we'll get into the big AEW Dynamite from the TD Garden in Boston.
I mean, come on, Florio. I mean, are you at all surprised that that this is back to reality after a good show? I mean, after a good show they put last week, I had this bad feeling that it was going to be back to reality, or as you like to say, NXT 2.0 style. I mean, come on, you guys. You should have built your momentum from last week, and instead you give us a shit fest of a show like this. No. Absolutely not. Mr. NXT is not impressed at all. This was a bad show. 3 out of 10. Shame on you, NXT, for giving us a show like this after a great show last week. But then again, it's no surprise, so nothing more to say. Fletch, let's get into AEW Dynamite.
All right, and from the TD Garden in Boston, we started out with the FTW Championship as it was Jack Perry versus Hook, winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and new FTW champion Jack Perry. 2 bits of news comes out. Jack Perry becomes the 6th FTW champion, but more importantly, Hook loses in the ring by pin or submission for the first time in his career. His record has been broken at the TD Garden in Boston. I mean, and you felt it in the emotion in Taz's face. I mean, for a New Yorker to lose in Boston? Oh, no. That is equally tough. Look, it was a solid match. It was a 3-star bout. The ending was left to be desired because of the fact that Jack Perry definitely pulled a fast one. Temporarily, the referee took a bump. He was down for a moment, had the FTW belt, blasting Hook, and he knocked him out and held him down for the 3 count. The fans in Boston was pissed. You could sense the anger, the hostility. I saw a lot of middle fingers being thrown at Jack Perry's direction. You want to trigger a crowd like Boston. You want to piss them off. You did it. Congratulations, AEW. You absolutely turned on a great wrestling town like that. Nuclear heat for Jack Perry. You cemented it. His heel turn is now complete. And not only that, but now he just took away the FTW title. So this was the first of a big battle, a big war down the line. We're all cool with it. But the ending was left to be desired. It was still a great match. It's a 3-star match. That it would have been 3.5 if it wasn't for the little bit of an overbooked finish, but still, it was amazing. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is yours. History was made, but I'm not going to go as far. I'm just going to say history has been made, but that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to give you that second part.
No, because it wasn't that at all. But the heat for Jack Perry was off the charts, and the reaction to his championship win was even more so. The crowd is ready to accept him in the role of the heel, even as he continues to find himself in that role. The match was laid out nicely as Perry gave Hook what was arguably his toughest test to date. Then to really hammer home his new persona, Perry benefited from the bumped referee and cheated his way to singles gold. His celebratory "I told you so" after the win in reference to his vows to be champion by the end of 2023 was great. Hook sold the finish well and really embraced the babyface role, fighting from underneath and thriving on the crowd's reaction. The chemistry was there in spades, and AEW should most definitely explore a rematch or two. Let the young stars develop a rivalry that fans can revisit over the years. This was certainly a good start. A video package cut off his Jack Perry's previous theme song and featured him apparently burying his Jungle Boy persona. While some will be disappointed to see the end of a character that was such an integral part of AEW for so long, it needed to happen to cement the heel turn and signify the dawn of a new era for the Pillar. Taz throwing out impartiality and wishing for Perry to catch a beatdown was great stuff from a guy established to be a proud dad. It is going to take Perry a bit to find himself as a heel worker, but he already has the body language down. The heat for him was plentiful. The T-bone suplex from the ring apron to the floor was wicked. It is difficult to imagine how Perry did not break everything. Perry delivering a low blow, then rocking Hook with a running elbow for a great dynamic, for a great dramatic near fall. So 3 to 3.25 stars for me. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, Jungle Boy, the new FTW champion.
Yeah, and like you said, this definitely solidifies Hook. I mean, Jungle Boy Jack. I mean, this solidifies Jack Perry as the heel after winning the title here. And yeah, he definitely got some heat from the fans in Boston after that. I mean, man, oh man, they really let him have it. And so yeah, I mean, 3.25 stars, a good way to start off this edition of Dynamite. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. Next up we had was Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks. Britt Baker winning the match in minute 5. That's a toss away. Nothing to talk about on that one. Next up we had was Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia versus MJF and Adam Cole in the Blind Eliminator title tournament final. And it was MJF and Adam Cole winning in 10 minutes. I want to say, let me see, 10:45. And now they receive an AEW World Tag Team titles shot against FTR down the line. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
And that match will take place on Saturday night, July the 29th, from the Elite XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut, as part of AEW Collision. So there you go, guys. FTR versus MJF and Adam Cole for the World Tag Team Championship. Saturday night, July 29th, AEW Collision in Hartford, another Northeast hotspot. So there you go. What started silly, and I mean silly, developed into a strong match that highlighted the growing friendship between Cole and MJF and their reciprocal influence on each other. The self-proclaimed devil was fantastic here, the over-the-top babyface that thrived on the cheers of fans that have never really loved him like they do now. He fed on it, and only after Cole teased a desire to be AEW champion did he momentarily revert to his old ways. The tension is still there, and Adam Cole still longs to be the top dog in AEW. It will ultimately cost fans one of the most unexpectedly great mismatched tag teams, but should help elevate that rivalry more than a more straightforward one-on-one storyline would have. The post-match stare down with FTR felt like a big deal, and that match should be a banger of a match that ultimately tells the next chapter of the Cole MJF saga. And before the match, Cole and MJF presented each other with matching tights and jackets to put over their growing friendship. Meanwhile, Roderick Strong appeared and called out to friend Adam Cole, but to no avail. MJF's boyish exuberance when Adam Cole entered to a theme song mashup was fun there. Mid-match dance-off was undoubtedly a choice, but it played to MJF's sudden babyfaceness and played up the sports entertainment shtick that Daniel Garcia has been trying to get over for the last year, so it at least made sense. Tony Schiavone openly saying this sucks was not inaccurate at all. My sentiments exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you sure they didn't let McMagma in the door? Because that was definitely something McMagma.
I mean, we're talking TD Garden in Boston. We're talking WWE territory, so maybe.
Perhaps they smuggled McMagma in the back door with one of those hood things that they use, but whatever. The hot tag to MJF, the crowd's reaction to it, and the tease double clothesline were spectacular and proof positive that the booking of this storyline has worked tremendously. MJF delivered a tope to a thunderous ovation to an incredible reaction after a moment of hesitation. The crowd was red hot for everything the AEW World Heavyweight Champion did and desperately wants to cheer the guy. And then the double clothesline put an exclamation point on a hellishly fun match. Cole stared longingly at the AEW World title, drawing the ear of MJF. A tense moment ensued before the former reassured his partner that all is well. MJF still flashed a look of distrust, a powerful reminder of the power of facial expressions in professional wrestling. 3.5 stars. Second best fight of the night for me. So, despite the silliness beforehand, so not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, no surprise here. Adam Cole and MJF winning this blind eliminator tag title tournament, and now they will face FTR for those AEW tag titles July 29th on Collision in Hartford.
Yeah, no surprise with the outcome here. I mean, I expected this, so 3.5 stars. I mean, this was a solid match here, and yeah, I mean, that silliness at the beginning was indeed that silly, but they got the job done. But now they got the shot at the World Tag Team titles on July 29th edition of Collision, and I'm going to go on the record of saying this, guys. I think FTR is going to retain the titles. And you want to know the reason why? I think this is where MJF is going to stab Adam Cole in the back.
It's possible.
That's
very possible.
There is no other way, because at some point they're going to have to pull the trigger on it. And I couldn't think of a better time than on that Saturday Collision on July 29th. So 3.5 stars for me. It's your Sledge.
Yeah, I agree with that. So 3.5 stars, no doubt about it. It was a solid match, I should say. So we will now move on to the main event of the evening. It was blood and guts. This is it, the moment we all been waiting for. Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. The winners of the match, 51 minutes, 15 seconds. The Golden Elite wins the matchup, as it was Jon Moxley surrendering the match after Wheeler Yuta got hung and basically got his throat roped up with a bunch of chains, as I think it was Matt Jackson and Adam Hangman Page basically was going to hang the poor kid out to dry, and just as a base of safety to try to protect his brethren, Jon Moxley, who was handcuffed to one of the ropes, told the referee, "We surrender. We're done. We're out of here." And that's how the Golden Elite wins it. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Yeah, what a match this was. I mean, it had everything here. There was blood. What else would you expect? But the one thing that really made me cringe was I think it was one of the Young Bucks with the thumbtacks on his boot right to the face of Wheeler Yuta. That was a little too much for me to handle, boys. I mean, but yeah, the big surprise here in this was the Bastard Pack walking out on the team, and then Konosuke Takeshita was, Don Callis got him out and they left, so it left the rest of the BCC by themselves. It was 5-on-3, so yeah, the Blackpool Combat Club is going to demand explanations from both sides of this. So now where do they go next from this? Who knows? But I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 4.5. I agree. It was a fine match. It was good. The violence was there. The blood was there as well. But yeah, that ending made no sense. The ending made no sense. I get it that Pac was trying to say that he's a loner, he's whatever. I'm gonna say I think you're gonna see Death Triangle versus Blackpool Combat Club now because I think you're gonna get Penta El Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix come back and they'll reunite, and you're gonna see them go after them for basically deserting them. And then as far as Don Callis goes, absolutely, Callis was adamant that he was gonna do it to try to destroy Kenny Omega. The minute you realized that it was going wrong and you knew the writing was on the wall, he grabbed Takeshita, basically told him, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. So basically, he showed his true colors by not being loyal to the Blackpool Combat Club, by not being loyal to that team, and that he is out for his own, doesn't care about the squad, never cared about the squad, and there's going to be a lot of major fallout for that. If you're Blackpool Combat Club, you're royally pissed tonight because of the fact that basically Jon Moxley basically landed on the sword. If it wasn't for that, I think they would have set it up to break the neck of Wheeler Yuta because they had him literally in a real compromising position with the chains around the neck, tossed them over the top, and then was hanging them right out there. Was a raw spot to watch, especially at the end, but it was what it was. Moxley did the right thing by saying, hey, we surrender. We're done. We're done. Because there was nothing they could have done there. Once they did that, you just saw the viciousness, the ugliness of the match. It was what it needed it to be. Barbaric. It was violent. It was rough. It was everything you wanted. But if you're the BCC, for all that stuff, for all the momentum you had, to lose to the Golden Elite, I don't know how they recover. Like, that's the ultimate thing. The storyline was you were going up against guys that you thought was not professional wrestling, that they were fickle, that they were, that they were fake, that they were posers, that they were not, that they're not real professional wrestling. That was the mission statement by Bryan Danielson. That's what he was saying the whole time going into this war. And they lose. They didn't even lose. They got convinced lost. They were destroyed in blood and guts. So for me, it takes away from the momentum because you literally you made the Elite even more better than ever before. The Elite, maybe, I was very adamant that the Elite had no business winning that first fight about back in the pay-per-view. And they won that match. And you heard my displeasure about it. This time around, the writing was on the wall. Going into it, I had Blackpool Combat Club winning. But then when Pac left, and then you saw Takeshita leaving the cage, I'm like, oh, you're going to give it to the Elite, aren't you? Oh, you got to be kidding me. But they did it. They won it. It was a good match. It was a great blood and guts. But to me, honestly, it's not even the best blood and guts match. It's not. I mean, yes, it was fine in certain areas. But as far as like really crazy high spot moments, we didn't get it this time. So it was a little tamer in certain elements, but it still had its AEW level violence and blood and everything. But I don't know. Anthony, it's yours.
What do you guys give it for a rating?
4.5, both.
Both you guys did. Okay. Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. I'll give it 4.5 as well. It was the fight of the night, and MF, I'm almost right there with you. You told it like it is, and I'm going to tell it like it is as well. I'm going to follow up on it. There are going to be plenty of opinions about the match that unfolded inside the two-ring, two-cage setting. Fans of the Golden Elite and all of the history within that particular faction will likely love it because it highlighted that group. It was yet another chapter in their story, and nothing that can be said or argued is going to change their opinion of the quote-unquote epic that unfolded in Boston. Other fans who appreciate the gritty, violent deathmatch style of wrestling will appreciate the blood, nails, glass, thumbtacks, tables, and chain that helped define this bout. In between the violence-fueled spots, there was not much to sink one's teeth into. The Kenny Omega, Claudio Castagnoli stuff early was a nice tease for a match that would be far better than what this was after it descended into chaos. From there, it was a collection of can you top this violence that escalated to the point that a competitor being choked out by a steel chain seemed like a downright mild finish in comparison. Yes, the match was called Blood and Guts, and complaining about the violent content would seem silly. When it proceeds an uber-violent Anarchy in the Arena match from Double or Nothing, which the BCC won, it is excessive. Too much of something fails to leave the impression that one hopes for. After all, we had an exploding sneaker in their previous pay-per-view encounter, a spot that is more creative and memorable than anything we got here. There will be an overabundance of stars assigned to this match and dialogue about its greatness, and that's fine. Every fan is entitled to their opinion and preferences. Hopefully, though, this is the conclusion of the program because there's nowhere else to go with these two teams. With that said, Pac walking out on the heels and Don Callis and Takeshita abandoning ship made for interesting developments. While the latter two are unlikely to suffer any recourse, the Bastard versus Moxley and or Claudio should be a ton of fun. Omega and Castagnoli, arguably the two greatest workhorses in the match, kicked things off for their respective teams. Great choice to set the tone for the bout. Moxley introduced a fork, an ode to fellow pro wrestling sadist Abdullah the Butcher. Moments later, there was glass and a bed of nails. Tony Schiavone, he said, "What the hell are we doing?" Touche, Tony, yeah. Kota Ibushi avenged Kenny Omega, driving Jon Moxley into the aforementioned bed of nails to really drive home the violence of it all and probably to justify putting the thing together in the first place. Hanging from the ceiling of the cage, Pac dropped down and delivered a double stomp to Matt Jackson, driving him through a table. The fans in Boston chanted, "Fight forever." Dissension reigned within the BCC as Pac flipped off his partners and walked out on the match. From there, Don Callis pulled Takeshita out of the match to avoid him enduring any further punishment. And the Golden Elite choked out Wheeler Yuta with a steel chain while a handcuffed Jon Moxley had no choice but to watch and surrender on behalf of his team. So I do agree with the rating. It was a 4.5-star match. It was the fight of the night. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about it. But MF, I know you don't like the outcome. Believe me, I don't either. But War Games style matches, 9 times out of 10. I mean, I know the only rare exception was, the Bloodline when they won the War Games match last year at Survivor Series. So that was one of the rare times the heel team won. So, but whenever there's a match like this, it's not often that the heel team wins. The babyface team usually wins, like I would say maybe 80-90% of the time. Yes, heel teams have won, like the Bloodline last year, the NWO in a couple of War Games matches. I remember Ric Flair and the Horsemen actually got one, I believe, in 91, I think. So not very often that heels usually win these matches. Babyface teams, 9 times out of 10, like I said, usually go over. And don't be surprised. I'm actually not at all surprised by this outcome. I had a feeling that the Elite was going to win it based on the history of these types of matches. So I would have loved to have seen BCC win because you guys know I love them. MF knows that I'm a big fan of the BCC, especially Jon Moxley. And I know I believe it's, what is it, in the sport of soccer, they usually have what's called a man of the match. Jon Moxley was the man of this match tonight. So, we're used to seeing him bleed from the front, but his back, oh my God, that all that blood on his back because of that bed and nail spot. Yeah. Oof. Yeesh. So I don't know what else there is to say. So, I'm with you guys. I'll make it unanimous, 4.5 stars. It is the fight of the night, but it was a great match. But the thing is, it wasn't the insane spectacle we were all expecting. I mean, yeah, there were some insane spots, but that's it. 4.5 stars. Jon Moxley, man of the match, a la the sport of soccer, because I know they usually have man of the matches or something like that. So there isn't much more to say. Overall review time. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. This was a good show. Solid show, amazing. Really nothing more to say. I'll give this a solid 8 out of 10. Anthony, quick thought. Go ahead.
And of course, don't forget we got your big 3 coming up still to come.
I'm holding that to Saturday because the event's on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right, I got you. All right, just wanted to be sure on that, but that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Differing opinions on the main event aside, this was a second consecutive very good episode of Dynamite. Hook and Jack Perry had a better than expected match for the FTW title at the start of the show that should serve as the foundation for a feud between 2 young stars of AEW's future, while the MJF Adam Cole story is the promotion's best. Blood and Guts was as advertised, and the debut of Kota Ibushi felt like a big deal. The question will be how quickly the company can come out of this show and turn its attention to All In and All Out. Those 2 events have the potential to be monumentally significant to the short and long-term futures of the company, and delivering a focused creative effort will be key. Thus far, it appears as though Tony Khan knows where he wants to go with top stories. Hopefully that focus remains intact, because the month of July has featured one of the best strings of Dynamite broadcasts in company history. I'll give you 8 out of 10 as well, MF. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, take it home. Bullock, are you there?
Right, yeah, what did you give it?
8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me as well. I mean, yeah, like you said, everything was good about it. I mean, yeah, not only like one bad match, and that was the Dr. Britt Baker match. I mean, everything else, including Blood and Guts, I thought was good. So 8 out of 10, Fletch, take it home.
All right, and we are done for the night. So Saturday is we're gonna do a special edition of Cerebral Smack Talk, SmackDown Live, AEW Collision. That's where I'll do my big 3 report. And and then we do it all over again starting on Monday with Ridiculously Raw with Anthony Florio. So until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher saying so long, everybody.